So I'm just in the car on the way to the to my GP to get my first smear test done. It's currently 8:30 and my appointment is in about 10 minutes. I'm super pleased I got an early appointment because the worst thing is waking up and having to wait to go to something scary. I'd much rather get it out of the way. But yeah, I'm feeling nervous. I don't really know what to expect. I'm trying to stay as calm as possible, but I've given myself a bit of extra time to you know, arrive on time and just be calmer throughout the process of getting there and everything, because the last thing I want is more stress being late. So I've given myself some extra time. So yeah, just hoping it all goes smoothly and everything looks okay. And I obviously can't film a lot whilst I'm in there, but I will have a little chat with you maybe when I get back in the car, and then I will also sit down and have a chat with you and fill you in with everything that went on during the process. But yeah, let's just see how it goes. I'm just pleased this day's here because it can be done with now and I can stop sort of overthinking about it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey everyone, so I'm actually back from my smear test now. I'm back at home and I'm just super relieved that it's done. All in all, the process was so quick. It literally took 2 minutes and it wasn't as painful as I expected. It was just more uncomfortable, but I'll fill you in on like the full process and everything that happened when I sit down and have a chat with you. But I just feel super relieved that it's done. And she said everything visually looked good, which is a good sign, but now I just have to wait for the results, which should be about 2 weeks, she said. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So good to have you here and I hope you're doing well today. So today is a little bit different in terms of content. I actually just wanted to talk about my first ever smear test, pap smear, cervical screening. It can come under all of those phrases and words. And I did my first one about a week ago and I just wanted to share my experience because I did also share this on Instagram and a lot of people had a lot of questions and it can be super nerve-wracking the first time you go. So I'm just hoping this video will help some of you, I don't know, feel more relaxed about it. So if you're in the UK, you will usually get a letter through the post 6 months before your 25th birthday. And this just reminds you to go to your cervical screening, that you're now eligible. I think they send it 6 months in advance because it takes people a little bit of time to actually book their appointment. So it gives them sort of time within these 6 months to actually call up the GP, book the appointment, find a time that works for them. And one of the main reasons I actually wanted to do this video is because when I went for my cervical screening, the nurse actually said to me how pleased she was that I came when I just turned 25, because not a lot of women actually go to these cervical screenings, or they get them much later on in life, or when there's a sign of a problem. And it's not great because the idea is that they detect any problems before they happen, and they prevent any cell abnormalities and things like that from becoming cancerous. And I think obviously one of the main reasons people put it off is because it's quite uncomfortable. You know, you're getting someone else is going to see your private areas, and a lot of it comes under body confidence as well, and just feeling like nervous for it to happen because you don't know what to expect. And I think the unexpected is what makes things worse, and like the unknown makes things scary. But you have to remember that these nurses do this every day, like 365 times a year, and they see many people's private areas, and you shouldn't be like worried about that because obviously everyone looks different down there. You know, even though we're all women and we have the same parts, they will look slightly different. And one thing is that the nurses just do not care. They're not going to comment on what you look like down there unless they think it's a problem. They are literally there just to take a sample of your cells, and they want to help you and they want to make sure that everything goes smoothly and that they are helping you prevent cervical cancer, which is the main reason we go for these cervical screenings. So when you call up and book your appointment, they will fit in a time that works well for you, but also you need to take into consideration your period cycle as well, because if you're due on your period, they prefer you not to go because obviously the cells are slightly different, and they probably won't get a sample that's useful, I guess, and it could mean that you have to just go back again. And so it's much better to go sort of at a period of time where you're off your cycle. I actually spoke to the doctor about this, or the receptionist about this, on the phone, and I said I'm due on at this time, and she said okay, we'll book it 2 weeks from then. So they try to sort of get in the middle of your cycle to get the best possible sample of cells. So just take that into consideration. You can always chat with your receptionist or doctor about this, and they can help you find out a time, or schedule a time that works well. So I'm just going to talk you through my experience. So when I turned up to the doctors, obviously, and I got called in to the nurse's room, she actually knew it was my first cervical screening test, and they will always ask you, I think, as well, if it's your first, so they can make you feel more comfortable and like relax you, because even though they want to relax you for emotional support, it's also much easier for them to carry out the whole test if you are relaxed, because obviously if you're tense, you're going to be tense down there and things aren't going to want to open up, so it just makes the experience much more uncomfortable as well. So she literally just chatted with me about why they do these tests, and that was such an eye-opener for me, and it was really helpful to like learn about the process and why they do this, how they do this. She taught me through what she would be doing as well, which made me feel much more comfortable and more aware of the process. But yeah, I think it's really nice when they just talk you through why they do it, because it just you build that connection with that nurse or doctor, and you feel much more comfortable in their presence once you've had a bit of a conversation about things. And like I said before, all they want to do is help you. All they want to do is make sure everything's all good for you and make sure that your health is in check and everything like that. So she talked through all the different outcomes of the test, so how long it would take for me to get the results, and if it all goes well, to only come back every 3 years, which is ideal. That's what they want. There's also 2 other outcomes that could be possible. One is the detection of abnormal cells, and that means once you have that, you just go back I think every 6 months to 12 months, because they just want to monitor what the cells are doing. If it's quite mild, they don't feel the need to remove anything. They're just gonna monitor the whole system and process of your cells, because if your body and your immune system can get rid of these cells, all good. You don't need to have like an operation or anything like that to remove it, but they do want to keep an eye on it, so it just means you go back more regularly. Or there could be cells that are abnormal, but they are quite serious, I guess, and that means that you'll be phoned by a specialist to organise a follow-up appointment, where I think they take more of the cells out and they figure out how to obviously remove them if they need to. So there's quite a few outcomes. Normally it's the first one, but it was nice to just know that and understand the process. So let's talk about what actually happens. They will ask you a few questions as well whilst you're sitting there, about whether you're sexually active, or like if you're on any contraception, just those general questions. She also did check my blood pressure as well and weigh me. I think that's to just do like a general health check. But the actual process is they'll have you laying down on a bed, and they'll put this, there's this plastic contraption that is called a speculum, and it looks a little bit like this. And the idea is they put it inside the womb, and then they open it once it's inside the womb to get the swab of the cells. And the swab itself is very long, it's very thin, and has a very like bristly brush on the end. So once I was laying down, she actually had me on the bed, not like how to explain. She actually had me on the bed, and I was laying obviously on the bed, but she was actually standing to the side of me, so she wasn't actually like front on. But a lot of different GP practices are slightly different. Some people have stirrups as well, but some places don't. So yeah, she literally just told me to open my legs, and she said just relax and take a few deep breaths. She was really good with me. She was very calming and encouraging as well. She will put the speculum in with a slight bit of lubrication. It's like a water brace water-based lubrication straight in. And I would say when it goes in, I think that's the most difficult part. I wouldn't say it was painful. It was uncomfortable, but I wouldn't say it was painful. And I think I was definitely worrying more than I should have been in terms of pain, because once it's in, it's sort of done, you know. And then they open it up, and the reason they open it up is that she can have a little look inside the womb as well, and make sure that she is getting the swab in the right area. She can do a visual exam, which just obviously to find any problems if there is any and stuff like that. But once the speculum's open, the swab will go in, and I think she just went around like 5 times around my womb. I couldn't actually feel this. It was really weird. I knew something was there, but I didn't actually feel it. It was a very weird sensation, actually. It was sort of like you were, you know, when your fingers are a bit numb and you can feel like you're picking stuff up, but you can't actually feel the texture. That's what it was a bit like. So that bit was completely fine. I didn't even realise what was happening. So it was literally over in like 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. And she was like, she said to me, "You've done really well on your first go," because a lot of times people can be so much more tense, and that's what causes more it to be more uncomfortable, and it also makes the whole process a lot longer as well. But she was so nice, and she was so calm, and she was so like friendly and genuine as well, and just got on with it, which is really nice. But once that's done, you can literally sit up, put your pants back on, and then she'll have a little conversation with you at the end. I actually wore a skirt, which is a great tip, because it just means you can literally, it can be as quickly as possible. You can just like pull up your skirt and take off your pants, and then it'd be done. And you don't have to faff around with any jeans or anything like that. So if you've got a skirt, I do highly recommend that, or a dress. So once the whole test process had been done with, I put my clothes on, I put my pants back on behind the curtain, and then I went out and I just sat down with her, and she had a conversation with me about my womb. So she said everything looks fine as a visual exam, and then she spoke to me a little bit about the process of getting the results back, and she said it could be 2 weeks, and she said actually the 2 weeks is usually the maximum. They are very quick at turning these sort of things around nowadays, which is really good. And then she also told me about coming back every 3 years if everything's all good, and if anything comes up in the test, that it'll all be in the letter, so you can read through and always book another appointment if you need to. So it was literally so quick, like so quick. I know it can be quite uncomfortable to book your first appointment, and I can understand why it's nerve-wracking, but I think personally it's even worse not getting a cervical screening and just worrying constantly that something could be wrong. So I hope this encourages you to book your test, because like my nurse said, not a lot of people do when they're 25, and it is really important to go and get your first test. The rest will be so much easier as well once you do your first one. And I think there's something like 1 in 20 people do have abnormal cells, so that is so important to share and to get people on board, because these tests help prevent anything else happening. And I'm all about health, and I'm all about being health confident, and it just seems like one of those tests that's so simple, so quick to just do it, and then your mind's at rest, basically. So yeah, I hope it encourages you to go. I know in the UK you start going at 25. I'm not sure about any other countries. I know some countries do a lot earlier on in life, and some countries do later in life. But when you get your letter through, please do book your first appointment. I am more than happy to answer any questions. If you still feel uncomfortable about anything, please just comment or send me a DM. You can also send me a DM on Instagram, which is in the links below. But yeah, I will encourage you to go and get your test done, and I really hope it all goes well for you. And yeah, I suppose this was a bit of a different video, but I just felt like I have a platform to share this, so I'm going to share it, and I hope that it helps some people out there. But apart from that, I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.